Kurinji Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
Free bus for LKG to 8th standard.
Free, hygienic and nutritious food.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
Kurinji Education Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
In continuation to the last class, now we are going to discuss scattering of light. In our last class, we discussed some natural phenomena due to sunlight. So there we discussed about some natural phenomena, and we also discussed clearly about rainbow. So what is rainbow, how the rainbow will be formed, how a primary rainbow formed, how the secondary rainbow formed, like that. Okay, now we are going to discuss first scattering of light, and then we are going to discuss about optical instruments. In this class we will focus on simple microscope or the microscope. So the convex lens acts as a simple microscope. There we will discuss about how convex lens magnifies the object, and what about linear magnification, and what about angular magnification, and when the image is at infinity, right? So in different aspects, in two different aspects we are going to discuss the magnification. Okay, right. So now come back to our starting, that is scattering of light. So first you have to know what is meant by scattering, right? So scattering is nothing but as simple as such, changing the direction. You know very well, especially in case of winter, early morning time. So morning 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, vehicles are not able to move on roads, right? So this I think everybody experienced among us. Okay, so the front vehicle, what is present just before our vehicle, is not possible to identify because of thick moist fog. That is the reason here we are going to stop the vehicles for some time, especially in case of winter. The reason is scattering of light. At the same time, you may observe that even at the time of 7 o'clock also in winter, vehicles are used to move with awning light. Okay, so generally when the time is 7 o'clock means we should not use the headlight, no, but at the time we need to use. Even though you use light, sometimes you can't move. The reason is scattering of light. So I will come to explain. So in thick moist fog there are water molecules. So whenever the light comes from headlight, falls on the water molecules, the light reflects back. So that you cannot see the thing, you cannot see the object which is present in front of the vehicle. That is the problem, right? So here the situation is scattering of light, the phenomena, okay, and the cause for this situation is scattering of light. Okay, right. See here, as sunlight travels through the Earth's atmosphere, it gets scattered, changes its direction by the atmospheric particles. I will repeat once again. As sunlight travels through the Earth's atmosphere, it gets scattered by the atmospheric particles. So this is the thing happens in case of scattering of light. Next, here itself one important point is amount of scattering is directly proportional to the 1 by lambda to the power of 4. So this is the statement or relation given by Rayleigh, so which is Rayleigh scattering. So when you are going to talk about scattering, here two things. One is wavelength of light, another one is size of the scatterer. Size of the scatterer. So here when we are going to talk about the scattering in case of atmosphere, so here atmospheric particles, so water particles and air molecules and dust particle. Okay. So two things we have to keep in mind regarding the amount of scattering. One is wavelength of light, another one is size of the scatterer. Suppose if A is the size of the scatterer, if A is double less than lambda, lambda is the wavelength of light, then you can say that amount of scattering is directly proportional to the 1 by lambda to the power of 4. Suppose if A is double greater than lambda, this is not true. So what is true here? All the wavelengths are scattered nearly equal. So A is double greater than lambda means here you have to take raindrops, large dust, ice particles, etc. Okay, right. Here itself we can see one example. Say this. So the clouds appear white. So what is the reason means? Which have droplets of water. So the clouds which have droplets of water generally white because less scattering, because the scattering, all wavelengths are scattered nearly equal. That is the reason clouds appears as white. So when A is double greater than lambda, all the wavelengths are scattered nearly equal, so that the object what you are going to see appears as a white in color. Okay, right. So that you can say this example. Now it is the best example. The clouds which have droplets of water generally white. Okay. Now see the situation. So it is the observer, position of observer and sun. So it is the sun near the horizon. So when he is here means it is like horizontal line. Okay. So it is what distance of atmosphere through which sunlight travels in atmosphere. So generally while sunset and sunrise. Okay, it is the picture related to the sunrise and sunset. Okay, you know very well what is sunrise and how the sun moves. Okay, and how the sun ends means that is what sunset. So sunrise to sunset, we experienced many times. Okay, right. And here itself one important information I want to tell, that is why the color of sun at the time of sunrise and at the time of sunset is red. The question is, first question, then explanation. The question is, it is important for 2 marks and sometimes 1 mark also. So the question is, why the sun looking red at the time of sunrise and sunset? Okay, the answer is scattering of light. But there is some logic. I'll tell you. Okay, see this. The reason for reddish look of sun at sunrise and sunset is the sun rays have to pass through a larger distance in the atmosphere. So at the time of either sunrise or sunset, the sun rays have to pass. Here is the observer. Suppose if you see here the sun rays are going to travel least distance or less distance when compared to this. Similarly, when compared to this one also, the sun rays are traveling less amount of distance. So that in case of sunrise or in case of sunset, the sun rays have to pass through a larger distance in the atmosphere, so that most of the blue and other shorter wavelengths are removed by scattering, right, while traveling long distance. Because you are viewing sunrise or sunset means the rays comes from sun must reach your eye, then only you can see. Whatever it may be the color, that is secondary, but first the light rays have to reach your eye. Okay, so here most of the blue and other shorter wavelengths are removed by scattering. So what is the least scattered one here? So the least scattered light, which is red, reaching our eyes, therefore the sun looks reddish. Okay, so actually it is a white color. So it is white means it consists of 7 colors, right? So we observe. So out of all these things, red is scattered least. Okay, red is scattered least, and red has longer wavelength, right? It is a high wavelength, so that it is scattered very less. So already here also we have seen, that is amount of scattering is inversely proportional to the 4th power of wavelength. So that here in case of red, it is scattered least, so that red travels long distance. That is the reason sun looks reddish. Okay, right. Next, our next continuation topic is optical instruments. Optical instruments, right. So basically optical instruments means, right, mirrors, lenses, prisms, periscope, kaleidoscope, binoculars, telescopes, microscopes, right. So the list what I told are the examples of optical instruments, right, or optical instruments, right. So whatever it may be, either mirror or lens or prism or periscope, right, or kaleidoscope, binocular, telescope, microscope. So all these things are optical instruments. Okay, right. What is the use of optical instrument? For example, I told mirror is the optical instrument. So what is the use? What is the use of plane mirror? What is the use of lens? What is the use of prism? Right. So mirror we are using as a rear view mirror and shaving mirror as a plane mirror also. Lens we are using as we are using in spectacles to overcome the defect, that is what sight problem. Suppose prisms we are using in binoculars. Binoculars we are using for viewing larger distant object. Periscopes to see the object which is on the ground by staying under the ground. Okay, kaleidoscope to see more number of images. Similarly, telescope to see the distant object, even having more distance also. That is our next class. What is that? Terrestrial telescope, astronomical telescope, that we will discuss in our coming classes. In this class we are going to discuss about microscope, but here we are going to discuss about only simple microscope. But in our coming class we are going to discuss about compound microscope. The difference is achieving magnification and in some other aspects. Okay, but in this class our concentration is to discuss simple microscope. Okay, right. So that's why just now whatever I told, these are the uses of optical instruments, right. So these optical instruments are utilizing the properties. Those are what? Reflection and refraction. Reflection and refraction. Okay, right. And along with all these things, one of the natural optical instruments, what is that? Our eye. Okay, so our eye is one of the natural property for us and is also one of the very good optical instrument. Because of that eye we are able to see all the things what happens in our surroundings. Okay, right. So now we are going to discuss the principle and working of the simple microscope, right. See here it is a convex lens. It is a convex lens and it is the principal axis, right. So it is the object. Okay, so it is the object distance, right? See here, the light rays are coming, it is one and it is the other. Okay, see here. So what I am saying is here, these two are the light rays. It is the dotted one, I drew with the solid line, but it is also the dotted line. It is also the dotted lines. Already you know that the rays which forms a virtual image, the rays which forms virtual image, we are going to represent with dotted lines. So this is okay, correct only, but this is also dotted line. Keep in mind, okay, and it is the virtual image. So here, because of this simple microscope, because of this convex lens, okay, why not? Because of this convex lens, we got a virtual, erect, okay, virtual, erect and magnified image. Virtual, erect and magnified image. Okay, so here eye is focused. This is the eye. Observer means eye. So eye focused on near points. Eye focused on near points. Okay, so already written here. Eye focused on near point. It is the distance of the image from optic center. From optic center. Okay, right. So here you can see the angle made. Right. It is what theta naught. Okay, in our further discussion you will get it as what is theta naught and why we are choosing angle. So okay, right, we will discuss further. Okay, right. First try to understand how the object is magnified, right? So according to the ray diagrams of convex lens, for different positions of object, when the object is at one particular position, the image will be virtual, magnified, okay, and virtual, magnified and erect. So suppose if it is up and it is down, here this is also up and this is also down. Okay, so it is based on our requirements, right? But here our discussion is to magnify the object. So with the help of microscope, we need to see the smaller and smaller objects. Okay, even like bacteria, okay, and virus, such type of things we need to see. So that's why our interest is to magnify the size of the object. We want to see the object in larger size, okay. So that's why it is a picture which shows magnification, okay. So this is the picture which shows ray diagram of simple microscope regarding magnification, okay, right. See this afterwards. See here, a simple magnifier or microscope is a converging lens of small focal length. In order to use, right, in order to use such a lens as a microscope, the lens is held near the object. The lens is held near the object. See this. One focal length away or less. One focal length away or less, and the eye is positioned close to the lens on the other side. See here, this is the position of eye and it is the position of object. Object is very close to the lens and eye should be focused here. Next, the idea is to get an erect, magnified and virtual image of the object at a distance so that it can be viewed comfortably. So it is a very important point here. We want to see the image of the object without having any stress. That is our requirement, no? So eye should not get any stress when we are watching image of the object. So to get that particular one, he is saying here, see this. The idea is to get an erect, magnified and virtual image of the object at a distance so that it can be viewed comfortably, that is at 25 centimeters or more. So what is this 25 centimeters? 25 centimeters is the least distance of distinct vision. Least distance of distinct vision for human eye, for healthy human eye. Okay. So 25 centimeters is the minimum distance. 25 centimeters is the minimum distance to see the object without any stress to the eye. Okay, see here. If the object is at a distance f, if the object is at a distance f, see here, the image is at infinity. When the object is at a distance f, the image is at, see this picture, the image is at infinity, full stop. If the object is less than the focal length of the lens, the image is virtual closer than infinity, this one, virtual closer than infinity. Okay, right. Although the closest comfortable distance for viewing the image is when it is at the near point, that is what D is approximately equal to 25 centimeters. It causes some strain on the eye. Therefore, the image formed at infinity is often considered most suitable for viewing by the relaxed eye. Have you got the point? Even though you are making image to form at 25 centimeters, sometimes because of adjustment, because when we are watching the image of the object, we are going to adjust the microscope with the help of screws. When you are adjusting, you may get some stress to the eye. Even to avoid that image, it is better to view. It is better for viewing the image which is formed at infinity, but it is virtual. Okay, considered most, say here, it causes some strain. It causes, although the closest comfortable distance for viewing the image is, when it is at the near point, D is approximately equal to 25 centimeters, it causes some strain on the eye. Therefore, the image formed at infinity is often considered most suitable for viewing by the relaxed eye. Okay, right. So, that is why we are going to consider the image formed at infinity as a comfortable for viewing to avoid stress. So, that we can call it as relaxed eye. Right? I think now I hope you understood the difference between the image formed at least distance of distinct vision and the image is formed at infinity. So, when the image is formed at least distance of distinct vision, that is approximately equal to 25 centimeters, is okay, is good, is avoid stress to the eye, but sometimes it may also cause some stress on the eye. That is why it is better to see the image formed at infinity regarding or to avoid the stress for eye. So, when there is no stress for eye, while viewing the image of the object, that is called as relaxed eye. Okay, right. Our next priority, so the most important priority, not only next priority, most important priority is magnification, right. See here, already we know what is the magnification, already we know. So, the magnification is ratio of size of the image to the size of the object, ratio of size of the image to the size of the object. So, here also the same thing, no difference, see here. And I already told you in our previous classes, I already told you magnification is the ratio of size of the image to the size of the object or distance of the image to the distance of the object, distance of the image to the distance of the object. You can see here m is equal to h dash by h, that is equal to v by u. So, here also you can see that, see this v by u, right. So, that you can write like this because v into 1 by u, no. So, 1 by u in place of 1 by u, you can write 1 by v minus 1 by f, right. So, when you are writing like this, if you observe carefully, v will get cancelled, no. So, if you multiply, then what will happen? 1 minus v by f, 1 minus v by f. So, when the image at near point, including the sign convention, you can write m is equal to 1 plus d by f. So, when the image is at near point, here in place of v, you can write it as d, no, but including the sign convention, v is equal to minus d, because it is the direction of incident ray, no. So, you are measuring opposite to the direction of incident ray, that is why v is equal to minus d, that is why here m is equal to 1 plus d by f. D is the distance of the image, f is the focal length of convex lens, where convex lens you are using as a simple microscope. Okay, see here, when the image is at infinity, when the image is at infinity, tan theta naught is equal to h by d. See this now. When the image is at infinity, tan theta naught is equal to h by d, that is approximately equal to theta naught. When the angle is very small, when the angle is very small, you know very well, tan theta is approximately equal to theta. So here tan theta naught is approximately equal to theta naught. Okay, right. The angle subtended by the object, the angle subtended by the object at u is equal to minus f, at u is equal to minus f. See this one now. Theta I is equal to h by f. This is what, right? Theta I is equal, here also the same thing, that is what, tan theta I is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. But for smaller values of theta, you can write theta I is equal to h by f. Okay, right. So if you take these two, the angular magnification, linear magnification means distance of the image by distance of the object, or size of the image by size of the object. But here angular magnification means ratio of angles, right? Theta I by theta naught. So I means image, naught means object. So that is equal to d by f, that is equal to d by f. Okay, that is right. So you can also write some other information related to these pictures, right? So what is theta I and which is approximately equal to theta, right? So it is not a matter because it is writing on our approximation, right? The first mostly we need to remember what is linear magnification in terms of least distance of distinct vision, and this is in terms of image distance, right? Afterwards, what is angular magnification? What is angular magnification? Okay, that is important. Okay, right. So this is 1 less than the magnification when the image is at the near point, but the viewing is more comfortable and the difference in magnification is usually small, right? So I already told you, because of this, because when the image is at infinity, almost you can see with a relaxed eye, right? So that is the important point here. Afterwards, we are going to discuss compound microscope. With that, you can achieve higher magnification. Okay, right. Thank you, ma.